And go.
SweatEquity podcast and streaming show, the #1 comedy business
Give me money.
podcast in the world.
Money now.
Pragmatic entrepreneurial advice.
I told you you don't get to make requests.
Real wiener jokes. You don't like raw dog talk.
Someone say vasectomy?
Listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio app, Pandora, maybe SiriusXM's podcast.
You could have looked it up in between.
I was looking
recording.
up. I got 2 things for this episode: the 80-20 rule and how entrepreneurship can be gleaned from Gen V, Billions, and Loki. Ooh, who's a nerd? This episode is sponsored by Zupyak. Zupyak. It's the first search-optimized AI writer. If you go to Zupyak.com, go promo code SWEAT, you're going to get hooked up big time. Look,
Trust us. Did they ever tell us what the hookup is?
I should have looked it up before the pod, but I bet it's good.
2 strikes.
I bet it's good, but it helps the show, it helps you. It's a discount of some sort.
Okay.
It's a mystery.
Okay.
Everybody likes the mystery dum-dum. Zupyak.com, Zupyak.com, promo code SWEAT. I've been using it. I'm not just a member. Wait, I'm not just a spokesman. I'm also a member. Hair Club for Men.
Yes.
But for real, I've been using it
that?
to write content for clients, to write copy, emails, a lot of stuff. So it's pretty balls on awesome.
Never heard that phrase before.
It's pretty dick hard awesome.
Okay.
It's pretty no reason
All
boner
right,
city.
we don't gotta do a whole thing about it.
Let's get this party started on! It's on it!
Sweat equity.
Listening to the Sweat Equity Podcast.
Give a little pragmatic knowledge nugget. I found this this app, website, whatever you want to call it, SaaS product.
You should be more specific.
Now, if you listen to the last podcast with Dan Pena, he says, doing shit in spreadsheets ain't going to get you far.
Yeah.
As far as taking action, that's what I was talking about.
That's very confusing. If they didn't listen to the last episode, knowing Dan Pena is the asshole motivator guy.
He's the Dennis Hopper looking dude.
You got to take it with a grain of salt.
He kind of wears Gordon Gekko suits and basically talks shit a lot.
Yeah.
He's like Don Rickles of the business motivational speaker
I don't know
world.
if I got anything from Dan Pena today, other than a good laugh.
Well, I think it hurt your feelings. I think you're
Did
very
it?
sensitive. Yeah.
Did he hurt my feelings?
I think so.
I don't remember that.
You
but
couldn't
I
get over.
believe
You couldn't get over him just yelling at people.
Oh.
Because you're Coach Red.
I guess I do
You're an
remember
empathetic coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I found this.
Talk to me about it.
If we give anything in this episode that's kind of pragmatic advice, it's saved me a lot of time with like Google Sheets or Excel. It's called Rose.ai, and it's simplified a lot of like you're like, oh, I need to know how to do this formula and stuff like that for Sheets or Excel.
Uh-huh.
And you know how painstaking it is to find the video to show you how to do it, and then you have to do it.
Are you sure there's not just like shortcuts now?
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is the ultimate shortcut.
Oh.
It's gotten easier. You can do a lot of stuff with using ChatGPT. Don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about
in the app itself.
I'm talking about I'm talking like pulling APIs and stuff. It gets kind of complicated sometimes, or pulling live data or something like that into a spreadsheet.
Okay.
This simplifies a lot of it.
There was a time when that would give me major nerd boner town city.
Hey, that's who I'm talking to. Past you.
Oh, man. But that's really deep in it, though.
Yeah, but you can Google Data Studio, so it's like you got to
Not in a minute, man. I haven't been kicking around that studio in a minute.
I'm saying you've been in there. There's other people.
That's what I'm saying. Like if that had come, like about 2 years ago at this time, I'd be like, oh fuck yeah.
Well, one of my favorite jokes on last week tonight with John Oliver it was something like, it's scary, like when you accidentally open Excel. You're like, ooh. Yeah, because that's how most people feel.
What?
Yeah.
I
So
like spreadsheets.
I like them, but like you can get deep in it, and you're like, I will figure this out. This VLOOKUP formula or whatever the fuck, concat formula, and it's like part of me hates my life that I'm in it and trying to figure it out. But
To be a PE coach.
why?
Why not?
I don't.
Better than spreadsheets.
I'll take the spreadsheets. I think I don't have the patience you do. You're much more patient than I am with like kind of day to day interactions with people. I think.
I don't know. I mean, I almost feel like I need to be less patient with some of these kids.
That's fair. We'll
But-
probably meet in the middle.
I'm just saying, it'd be fun.
Look, in a different life, I would love to be a football coach, but that's a different life. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of time. Is all I'm saying.
Yes, that is true.
And I was reflecting the other day. I was like, hey, I've kind of set because I used to get pissed about working in offices, in house, or something where people just bug you all the time, or you get calls nonstop.
Right.
And it's like now I have a life where a lot of the days I don't talk to anybody unless I
Yeah.
want to. So I was like very grateful for that. That I was trying to reflect on good stuff.
Wait, what were you grateful for?
That I've kind of set my life up work wise. That
You
I
don't
don't
have to
I don't have to
travel.
take so many inbound like just people calling all the time. And
Yeah.
bothering
No,
you for bullshit.
I'm like you with that. But yeah, I don't have that. I have 100 conversations I don't necessarily want to be in.
Look, I got asked to go do the Great American Teach-In. I was like, pass. I don't want to go do that
For who?
for my kids.
Oh,
Kids
they're too
class.
young for you to get in there. And I tried it. And my kids were in kindergarten. I was like, "This is you. You guys don't." You
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
give a
they
shit.
don't really understand what Dad does anyway. So it's
Right.
Like,
It needs to be a very broad job.
well, I would.
I'm a firefighter.
I could talk about advertising.
You want me to go in?
They get
You want me to be a PE coach?
yeah, yeah. They'll be like, no, and you're like, oh shit.
It's not hard. You just gotta. It takes like a day.
No, I know. We talked about it in a couple episodes ago. How the barrier to entry was not very high.
Yeah.
They need people that want to do it. That's
Right.
the thing. And it's very. I don't know. I know it
I will
hurts.
say on the backside of things, like there are a good number of requirements that I have to fulfill.
Sure,
That being said, I have like 5 years to do it.
but I'm saying like, I think it would hurt my heart a lot. Some of the stories you told me off air, that how these kids were growing up,
Yeah.
and I think it would weigh on me a lot. And
Trust me, like when it comes to that sort of thing, you and I are very similar. You compartmentalize in a way, but like,
well, it sucks. You can't do what you want to do to help. I think that would be
right? Yeah,
frustrating.
you can't help everybody in the way you want to, but at the same time, you do have to take everything with a grain of salt, just because middle school is so weird for humans. That age is so weird, where like not everything is the way it's presented to you. They're starting to get these, attitudes and ideas, and like
And
they're not all
hormones.
like, yeah, sure, the hormones,
Periods.
that's a problem. Sure, but like,
That's why Big Mouth is great.
yeah, yeah. God, I haven't watched that since I started.
New season's out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like all I can do is do my best as a PE coach. Maybe it makes them want to come to school every day. I don't know, but
Yeah, and I don't think that's for me. But thanks. Where do you want to?
I'm trying to think of you as a PE coach. What it would be like?
I could do it, but I would be so salty in the morning every day to like get up and be like, ugh. I don't want. I'm just. Things have been going relatively well with Tocoba.ga, Tocoba.ga is the website if you want to go there, and things are moving in the right trajectory that way. It's just I got to get more consistent day to day, week to week with myself. That's where I'm working on.
Yeah. Well, what I'm learning is it's more, big picture and enjoying things day to day, moment to moment, because it's like a lot of it is just trying to get participation and just, instilling that, like, hey, you're going to need to be active for the rest of your life. Get used to it.
Right.
But where was I going with it? I don't know.
Well, that's no. I can segue that because
You read my mind, please.
we were talking about off air. I was like, I'm going to go to the stand up club nearby after this because I just need to kind of show up because a lot of what you want to do, the job you want to get, is just kind of being around and showing
You
up.
did read my mind. That's it. Yeah.
And 80. Here's a real thought. I was thinking about this a lot the last couple weeks. 80% of business is following up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've talked about it on the show like years ago a lot, but I was really thinking about it again. If you close your eyes, if you're listening, close your eyes. If you're driving, don't do it. Don't close your eyes there. But if you're just try to imagine all the people that you kind of respect that are successful in your life.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually very good about following up in like personal life is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not even talking about their profession.
Yeah.
The people that are Johnny on the spot, reliable. Hey,
don't be flaky.
You mentioned this. Hey, I looked this up for you. Or you need the hookup for this. So you ask for, those people that follow up all the time. I look at that and I kind of admire those kind of people in my life.
Yes.
They're all successful too.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like that's a trait of a successful person. Then I was thinking about 80-20 rule and why that it kind of exists.
Okay.
You know the 80-20 rule?
Mm-hmm. I got a parallel for you when you're done.
The Pareto principle, an Italian economist made up the 80-20.
Red flag.
Yeah, I know.
What?
It's an 80-20 rule.
Just trust me. Take a moment.
Take off your pants. Vilfredo Pareto, Pareto.
Okay.
So, for those that don't know or don't know how to define it, it's the concept that suggests roughly 80% of effects come from 20% of the causes.
Mm-hmm.
And so 80% of Italy's land was owned by 20% of the population back in 1906.
Okay.
So that's interesting. But
Yeah.
it still exists
Well,
big time.
My parallel is 80% of the problems come from 20% of the kids.
Right.
It is very straightforward. Like, I've told you, like, I don't think there's one bad kid at that school. Because if I talk to any of them individually, good kids. So they start to get together and they get influenced by other kids who are just
Groupthink.
a tick up on the, like, I'm just going to mess around today. And then it's like,
And then the infighting starts.
yeah, it's a cascading effect where it's just like, oh, you just got to
I've said that
key
about
in on certain situations.
I've said that about top NFL draft picks. I think a lot of them are very good players a lot of the time that can go to bad franchises where that kind of seeps in.
Yeah. NFL for sure, it matters where you go, who you're with.
My parents were asking me about Baker Mayfield on the Bucks, and I go, well, he's the number one pick, and he won the Heisman, and then he went to the Browns, and I think he did as much as he could, but I think when you're in a weird losing kind of, you're always coming into this.
Right.
Not.
Why are they still called the Browns? What does it even mean?
It's the last name of the owner.
Yeah, I know, but I'm being just
They really,
some guy.
They really need to have a different logo than just an orange helmet,
Right.
Which doesn't make sense,
right. Why isn't it brown?
Well, they need to just apply the dog or the elf or whatever, something.
Or is a picture of the fucking guy the team's named
Or
after?
just came up with a great idea: poop emoji. They need to make that their
That
logo.
would go so fucking epic, viral, whatever. Just like millions of dollars in merch sales.
Hey, emoji's the #1 universal language. Just saying, guys.
Hieroglyphics.
You get that international appeal. So 80-20 rule. I've been thinking about it a lot.
Should we pitch it right now to the Cleveland Browns?
Dear
Chop it
Cleveland Browns.
Hey, listen up, Browns.
You do direct to camera if you want.
We're always direct to camera.
I know, but
That's how-
your eye line, I'm saying.
Okay. Who are you talking to? Me?
Yeah.
Well, I
thought
know
you-
how to do it.
Pitch it.
Cleveland Browns. Change the whole thing. You should change the name of the team first. If you don't want to do that, make it the poop emoji on the side of the helmet. Make that your logo. Please. We'd buy it.
Just letting you run clean on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say.
It's all about the clips, dude.
Right. Okay. We got it.
We'll get it.
Nailed it. Perfect.
We're gonna cut it up.
Money now.
Send it to the right people.
Send it.
Here's a couple stats on the 80-20 rule. 80% of companies' profits come from 20% of the customers. 80% of sales come from 20% of the products. Productivity, 80% of results come from 20% of the efforts. In software, 80% of software bugs come from 20% of the code. It's just a weird, we talk about synchronicities, we talk about weird kind of patterns,
are all those true, or is it just like ideas?
Those were pulled from, I think, Gallup and like SH.
So they're verified legit.
Well, you can't, it's obviously broad strokes, but it was at least, I tried to pull everything that came from studies for these.
Yes. Okay, good.
Yeah.
We want to keep it legit.
Well, I was already curious about this and kind of looking at it, and it's just like, let's make sure they have sources to it. I was pulling up the other article I sent to you about media confidence is at an all-time record low since 2016.
Oh, I believe that.
And so now I've bitched about this a lot, but like every time I read an article, if I do, from a news story, I have to go look the sources up because I got to make sure, they just didn't go, oh, you said this. It's like when you talk to someone and they go, you called me a fat hoe. And I was like, I was singing a rap song. You just took that way out of context.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or something like that. They just pull one part out of it that makes sense to their narrative.
Oh, for sure. That happens all the time, but you pick that out right away, right? You don't actually have to pull these sources. Yeah, I guess for this weird article.
Well, I have a weird brain where I can remember a lot of stats.
Oh, the author of that reminded me of a Neal Brennan bit I was going to show you.
What?
Well,
Three mics?
He was telling a story about how he went to a dinner that was surrounded, like there was like just every Hall of Fame comedian you could think of. And I forget, it was like Chris Rock and just that level.
Yakov Smirnoff.
Yes, sure. Think of all the greats. And Neal Brennan was there.
Sandra Bernhard.
And somebody went up. I guess whoever was throwing that, this is a really good story when I don't know anybody other than Neal Brennan. But they got up and like, man, it was great for me to be here in front of all of my comedy idols. And he said that Chris Rock yelled out, and Neal Brennan. And then Neal Brennan says, I really thought about, I wish there was a way that Chris Rock could be embarrassed in front of all of his peers one day.
Well, you know what?
A very nice, tight joke.
Speaking, that kind of plays into what we're talking about like kind of showing up. Business is about following up. Chris Rock would go to a lot of dinner parties of very intelligent people, and just he made himself be able to get into these like fancy dinner parties with like very intelligent people. Okay. Just to show up and absorb it, which I find interesting because it's that thing of like you never want to be the smartest person in the room,
right?
Kind of deal. And if you are, you should get out of there if you can. And you should always kind of seek that out. I thought that's pretty interesting. Like non-entertainment people though.
Yeah. I've never heard that, but I believe it. Chris Rock is. I bet you he's got some crazy smarts that just aren't public. Just use them as comedy.
Oh, yeah. He's a brilliant guy. Some more 80-20s. Do you want some more?
Not really. Okay. I get it.
Well, I think...
Give me money.
How about follow-up, though? Because follow-up's really what I'm talking about. Follow-up is everything in business, I feel like.
Okay, hit me with whatever you got. I don't know.
Well, how about management stuff? Like 80% of employees prefer immediate feedback to annual reviews. I think that's so undervalued in business. In sales, follow-up contact. 80% of the sales require 5 follow-up phone calls after the meeting.
So we're just using facts with the number 80 in it.
I thought I'm teeing them up for you.
My 80-year-old grandma pees 20 times a day.
But here's something interesting with sales: 44% of sales reps give up after one follow-up. I find that very interesting. Huh. Yeah. So
I believe it.
Gallup, SHRM are the main two of these. For the studies. So I don't know. The more I was thinking about that, my follow-up game is kind of atrophied a bit. So I was working on that, and then this 80-20 thing got in my head, and I was like, this might be interesting for the show.
Well, 80% of the time, It was 20% funny.
I just read, the more I think about it, 80% of business is follow up. The more you kind of chalk it up, you know.
Yeah. But where's the? I mean, that's
it's
like
not
I
just
said.
sales.
You're just going back to just using the number 80.
No, well, I'm talking about in management as well, project management and management of employees, your effort, time,
Yes.
all those things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you gotta show
What?
up.
What do you got something to bring to the
Nah,
table?
my bad. Keep talking about 80-20. What's that add up to, anyways? 150?
Yeah.
Something like that. Teach me.
Well, you're not a math teacher.
That's right. Yeah.
I
Walk the track about it.
another rabbit hole I went down, nerd style, was I was looking up Arabic, like the things that came out and long time ago. Like Galileo gets a lot of credit. Like the Arabic came up with like the Arabic like nations. I'm trying to figure out how to say it correctly. Like came up with algebra, right?
Right. And then some sneaky Italian comes along, Galileo, and steals it.
It kind of got whitewashed. This was what I was thinking about. I was like, Galileo gets a lot of credit. They had a fucking globe like like 1,000 years before Galileo.
Yeah. If not longer. Who fucking knows anymore, man?
They had like I was looking up like old school compasses and telescopes and stuff. They had this shit way back in the day. Which, by the way, the shit looks cool as fuck. It's like something.
You know what I'm going to say?
What?
Is that we don't know. It could have been 10,000 years ago. They could have had spaceships flying around and it got all destroyed and we just don't know it.
You know, a Spark podcast just told me the fact that, media confidence is at an all-time low. And
Where'd you hear that?
it's this podcast called SweatEquity, sweatequitypod.com.
I've moved past aliens. I'm on to ghosts now.
Oh,
by the
my
way.
God. Are you turning into a turquoise jewelry
Are
like
you turning
stepmom?
into a fucking right-wing,
Look how-
closed-minded asshole?
Look how defensive you're getting.
what
Ghost?
you
Why,
want?
why Ghost?
Because they got a show on on HBO Max that I've been watching about it. Ghost Adventures.
Oh, boy.
Listen,
What don't I know about Ghost?
Honestly, I'm just there's a lot of crazy shit that they get on camera that it's like it's got to be all connected with the aliens and all this other stuff we don't know.
So ghosts
And-
are aliens?
Sure, why not? They could be. There's going to be some through line here of like, oh, well, they go into this plane of existence and you just can't see it. And this is another plane of existence that we fly our spaceships around on, you idiots.
Well, I'll give you Arrival, the movie.
Okay.
Have you watched that?
That's the name of the movie. Arrival, is that the one with
That's the one with like
where they have like a giant spaceship just sitting there for months and months?
that's the
which
one
was
where
that?
like aliens are like gaseous, like they don't even know what it is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go with you on that.
I'm not saying I know any of what it is, but I think it's going to get kind of crazy soon.
So what about ghost specific? So I'm asking questions. Don't get offended.
Fuck you.
I'm not trying to be passive aggressive. I'm trying to ask questions. Is it dead people ghosts?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so it's not just aliens.
This is what I've learned about ghosts.
Tell me what you've learned about ghosts.
Usually, it's somebody who's been like murdered or committed suicide. It's like somebody who met an untimely death, usually. But I'll tell you what. Watching this show, they are either the greatest actors you've ever seen in your life, or they have had a lot of coincidental things happen to them.
Like,
dude, they have video of a rock levitating off the floor and hitting the guy in the foot. There's 100 different things you could see that'd be like, wow, that's tough to explain. That's tough to explain. That's tough to, and it's just like, man, you watch enough of it, you're like, I think that's real. I think it's real now. Why not?
I want to believe.
Start watching it. I watched it. It is funny in its own way.
That's a pesky ghost just to pick up a little rock and hit him in the shoe.
No, I mean that's when it comes to ghost energy. Do you understand what it takes for a ghost to do that?
Oh no, I'm all about big ghost energy. What what is it?
I mean, I don't know. I'm saying like they have a hard time like manifest. They have to suck your energy to be able to do stuff. Apparently, but there is an entertainment factor of it, because it's three dudes or totally bros that are just like, you just hear things like, did you touch my leg, bro? Like, just like somewhat like homo insecurity things where it's like.
It sounds like cocaine energy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Okay. But like, yeah, the one guy, he does seem like at one point he did a lot of cocaine to do this stuff. But
Well, where you have a trouble kind of assessing real world, you know?
no, because
Okay. No.
I encourage you to just have a good time watching it. Take it for what it is, believe it or don't believe it. But it's entertaining. If you sit there and go, hey, that could be real, it's entertaining.
Look, I've told you with aliens, I want to believe, but I'm skeptic on the information of stories that are put out there.
Just be patient with it. You know, we'll find out all the same.
You know, that's
together.
fair. You know, I think you have to open your mind or heart or whatever to these things. You can't
Right.
be closed off, otherwise you'll never see it if it is real.
That's my whole thing.
I think that I would say that's the thing with personal relationships too.
Yeah.
Like if you don't realize that you're closed off, you know, you have to kind of be open to be able to, you know.
Right. That's my number one thing. I want to push the attitude of like, hey, nobody knows fucking shit. Stop acting like you know everything and just be open-minded. Like, that's all I want. You know, I don't care if I look like a fucking idiot when somebody pulls the veil down and it's like, these aliens are all puppets, you dork idiot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, just whatever. I'll be like, hey, at least I gave it a shot. At least I had fun watching the ghost show.
Yeah, if you're entertained
Why
by
not?
it, by all means. Like, I don't love horror movies, but I get it's a form of entertainment and people like it,
yeah.
and it's not for me. But you know, I don't think it's a bad thing if
Yeah.
you like that.
I guess it's like if you live your life closed down like that, it's just, what do you have to look forward to?
Yeah.
You know?
I guess my interests are more into I don't know. I guess the outcome for me is like it doesn't really change whether I believe or not, almost. And it's like it's not that exciting. I don't have a natural proclivity for wanting to look into this stuff that much, you know?
Yeah, no, I get it. Lots of people are like that.
But I look, again, I want there to be aliens. I think it's cool. I'm skeptical in the evidence, I guess, that's presented a lot of the time because it does seem bullshit.
I'd
like to think
I would like to see you make a better effort on the evidence. There's
Wow.
so much out there.
Yeah, I know, but I got
There's so much.
I know,
Where
I
it's
have
just
to-
like you can pick through it, but like once you go through the preponderance of it, it's hard to be like, this is bullshit.
I know. In my head, I'm like, yeah, I would like to go down that rabbit hole a little bit, but I also am like, I've got a lot more to prioritize that is like a never-ending queue, you know?
Sure.
That I can see the forest for the trees to get over that hump, to have the time to be able to go down YouTube rabbit holes like I used to, you know?
Yeah. I
But-
guess if I'm talking to every man out there, every woman, whoever, just if somebody shows you, hey, check this out, this video, don't shut down right away. Be like, don't start trying to pick it apart. Just be like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Don't react. Just leave it open. That's for anything. That's
Trying
trying
to
to
be
do
like-
with aliens, like just in general. Like, hey, try not to be the judge and jury all.
but I'm just throwing out there that you went from at the beginning of this combo. You do sound like a wellness lady, a holistic wellness lady
Yeah.
that wears turquoise jewelry because you're like, well, I went from aliens to ghosts now, and I want to sell you some vitamins.
Can't wait to see what I do next.
Yeah, you're gonna show up in Birkenstocks. They're making a comeback, dude.
I'm in a Birkenstocks. That's not. I mean, what else? What would be the next progression?
What is like an old
Leprechauns.
like
I'm into leprechauns now.
I see you as a 50-year-old woman in like Arizona,
Yeah.
you know, or New Mexico, Santa Fe.
Lots of crazy shit happened out there.
Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah,
Ghosts and aliens.
yeah,
Love the desert.
yeah. They love the desert for some reason.
Yeah, it's because there's nobody around. They want their privacy just like you and I.
What about Hollow Earth? Where are we on that?
Who knows? Maybe it's hollow. I don't know anymore.
Well, it's kind of like space is interesting to me. I've been going more into that stuff, like us.
I'm over space. I'm past space.
Well,
Too much going on down here that we got to worry about for space to come into play.
that's where I was going to go. I do find exploration in the sea pretty interesting too. How we can't really get that far down.
Yeah.
You know, we had that horrible tragedy of that, like
Titanic.
there's that. But I'm talking about the makeshift submarine that
Yes.
imploded
Operated by a
like
PlayStation controller.
100 yards down or something. Like,
No, they were deep.
were they?
They got crushed from the pressure.
I thought the pressure, like, it kinked in like pretty soon or something.
I don't think so.
But I
don't
guess they
think
would have
they're-
been found because they would have.
Oh, it just sinks right to the bottom.
Oh
Dude,
yeah.
Have you ever looked at the deepest hole that's ever been dug?
No.
I think the Russians just started being like, we're going to dig to the fucking center of the earth. I think they got like 9 miles down or something. You look at that, and then you look at how far 9 miles is compared to the
No, that's
diameter of the earth, and
that's-
you're like, they're not even fucking close. Who knows what's going on down there? We don't really know.
Yeah, have we drilled that far down?
I think it's 9 miles.
Now you're talking about a hole. You're talking about a hole
Just talking about a hole that they're trying to dig into the earth.
to get to the core. You know,
I think they were just like, we'll see how deep we can dig this shit.
my kids were on the beach and they're like, I'm going to dig to China. And I was thinking about it. I was like, what would be the opposite of where we are right now? And I was like, oh, you'd be in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Russians project took 20 years to complete, 40,000 feet deep. So what's that? Why wouldn't they tell me how many miles that is?
How many feet?
40,000 feet. Not that far.
miles, 5,000 feet ish.
Yeah. So 8 miles and change. So it's pretty damn close. Think about that.
Greater than Mount Everest.
Sure.
Yeah.
But did you also know that if you took the Earth and compared it to like a cue ball, and you took, even with the deepest parts of the ocean and the tallest mountains we have, that the Earth, and they were the same size, the Earth would be smoother than a cue ball would, given the inconsistencies in a cue ball. Think about that. That's how
Interesting.
big the
That's
Earth is.
interesting.
Fucking huge.
So you're saying
That we can't even
the
consider how
valleys
big it
are
is.
as big as the peaks.
No, I'm saying that they're so minuscule compared to the
okay.
diameter of the Earth. They don't matter that much. That a cue ball is just as smooth, at least.
Interesting. Where'd you hear that?
I gotta look that up.
Yeah, that. Because I'm like, cue balls are pretty smooth.
Right. Let's see. How smooth is the Earth?
Oh boy, you gotta go.
Oh,
You gotta go to ChatGPT for that one. Quora.
what does this say?
Quoras were. It's like kind of like a white collar Reddit.
Yeah.
People ask a lot of questions on there. Now it's user answered, so sometimes it's tough. And then they have those tricky ads that look like answers.
Oh, I don't even.
You know,
This is terrible.
you know that'll be homework for next episode because we're.
Okay, wait. Here they just debunked what I just said. Is the Earth as smooth as a billiard ball? No.
Call
Here's
you
why.
Janet from now on.
Why?
You're a Southwest wellness coach.
Okay.
You're the fun aunt though.
Thank you.
You'll do acid with your nieces and nephews.
That's right. I'm trying to like get.
Well,
Oh my god! That just fucking.
while you're looking up this ad, this one with a bunch of ads in it.
This is terrible.
Mariana Trench, fun stuff like that. Look, if you made it to the end of this episode, you know, good on you.
Dude, they just break it down way too far.
But if you want to,
Anyways, what I said might not be might not be correct, but it doesn't change the fact that the peaks and valleys that we have are dipshit compared to what the entire thing is.
look, if you took anything away from the last half of this episode, be
The
curious.
Earth is big.
Be curious.
Oh yeah, be curious. And the Earth is big.
I don't have a lot of time for people that aren't curious.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, don't you think that's interesting? They're like, what?
Oh, I hate that.
And
Man.
you get a look of like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And you're like, I was just telling you something cool.
Yeah, like that's guaranteed. Even though I'm wrong, but you know,
Don't you think it's interesting our sleep patterns are dog shit in America? Don't you find that interesting?
Well, that's
Because there's a sleep survey.
oh, okay.
I was pulling up. Now, the reasons people stay up at night made me laugh. This is why I wanted to bring it up to you. So this is a U.S. News survey that had 1,200 people in it. I want to know who they surveyed, or the National Sleep Foundation.
I can see the list. They surveyed the people in their office.
Number one, I should have hit it from you and did what's it called, Family Feud on you. Number one reason people stay up at night: inflation.
Dude, I don't know.
What? I was going to go money.
Right, money. That's different than inflation.
Most Americans don't have $500 saved up.
Right. That's not inflation. That's because of inflation. But
Oh, dude,
this list is
we're talking
stupid.
about saving habits. Before inflation's a small percentage of that, but COVID-19 is the second one. Did they go?
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, U.S. News.
Fuck
and
you,
World
National
Report.
Sleep Foundation.
Bullshit.
Eat
That is
shit.
not bullshit. That is just absolute lies.
Gun violence in America, okay, maybe. Again, if you look up the the fallacy of fear index, we're safer than we've ever been.
Right.
But we're more scared than we've ever been. Back to the media, low confidence.
Okay, good.
Right?
Good callback.
Climate change. What they did this at a university or something. Like
Right.
I don't get it. And
Probably
then
from the video from the last
the fifth
episode.
the fifth one's the funniest of 2023. It's the 2024 presidential election keeps people up. I don't think so.
Right. Who did they survey? That's terrible.
I think they're more personal for everybody. And then the worst habits: going to bed at different times, screen time in bed, eating too much before bed. We're fat as a country. Falling asleep with the TV on, rules, and pulling all-nighters, number 5.
Pulling all-nighters. What the hell does that mean? Not being able to sleep. That's one of the worst sleep. That's eating its own tail.
As our buddy Dean Akers has said, the best employees work 6 hours out of an 8-hour day.
Right.
Right? Pulling
The
all-nighters.
CEO only works 2.
Right. Well, let's go ghost hunting.
Okay.
There's got
Swear to God, I thought I heard something in my house today.
See, that's the other thing with that is like, the skeptical part of me goes, eyewitness accounts are bullshit when you break them down. Like they've done those studies.
Dude, this goes beyond eyewitness. They got it all on camera. It's fun.
I don't
It's
trust the
fun.
production team.
It's a fun thing.
That's not HBO. That's Max show.
right.
That ain't no HBO show.
Ghosts after dark.
Yeah,
Naked ghosts. They get prostitute ghosts.
The ghosts only they don't show vagina, but they show bush.
Oh, well, no
Cinemax
penetration.
ghost.
No penetration.
Get it?
Yeah.
All right.
You heard me say no penetration.
No pin.
No pen, baby.